for coming out today and looking at our C360 demo. So before we dive in, I want to introduce a few of us, but it sounds like most of us know each other, but we're going to do some introductions. So I am Taylor Vossler, Vice President of Operations here at C3. I've been with C3 for going on 7 years. Nope, just kidding. It has passed 7 years now. I also have with me Nicholas Mathis, the Global Technology Advisor based out of our Metro Detroit market, and then also Kimmy Di Benedetto. Oh, I said that wrong. Di Benedetto. Oh, I did? Oh. She yelled at me.
We had a separate call to practice it.
We did. You try to say that off the tip of your tongue. It doesn't work so well. But Kimmy is our client lifecycle manager. So she helps between the consulting side and the evaluation side and also on the day 2 support side. So we are going to bring them up. They're going to talk through a couple case studies first before we dive into the demo, just to showcase what we've experienced in the last year and how C360 has helped. So to kick things off, I'm going to toss it over to Nick to set our stage for us.
Locations nationwide, and they grow through M&A.
All right, perfect. So with the automotive industry, obviously there's plenty of challenges there. There you go, Mike. But what challenges did this client face prior to C360?
Absolutely. So they came to us with looking for a diverse carrier, right, for all their locations. So first they had to understand what they had, and they had a very poor contract and inventory management system internally. So they had zero visibility on what they currently had. But what they were really trying to do is build out that diversity for that last mile access.
No, perfect. And I know with this client in particular, we had a lot of opportunities to collaborate with this client on how we not only started C360, but what their challenges, needs were as well. So can you dive into a little bit of that collaboration process that we experienced and those room for improvement that we've had?
Absolutely. So everything that they were requesting from us came from email, right? And I said, Taylor, this stinks, right? I'm getting all these emails. Can we have something where there's a central portion where that they can make a request from a quote, they can see what we've already quoted out and what carriers we've recommended, but then also see and procure right through that site and say, yes, that's the site I want. Can you get me paperwork and attach it there? So I gave all this to her and said, can we do this? And she said, maybe.
Sure, maybe. I don't know. This is a big ask. We're going to try. So yes, and then with that, I know this particular client of ours with the 150 sites, it was really unique, really interesting, and they have been just a true staple in helping us understand how to really build C360. And as one of the themes in this demos you're going to learn is this is built for you guys, by you guys. So that's one of the most unique things. This is not something that we as C3 built because we have these types of needs. We just asked the questions of what challenges you all faced to ensure that we were getting you the answers that you also needed. So as I mentioned, in 1 year here, we've had a lot of impact. So I'm not going to go through all the stats and numbers from this morning, but ultimately the really big call out is going to be the average of 7 users per client. So reducing those silos, giving the visibility to where your folks need this data to make the decisions quickly, effectively, and you also have the visibility into seeing what's going on. Also with the 2,300 inventory lines tracked, so that one's not only just the telecom network, we have like Meraki's, we got SaaS solutions in there now. So this is another way that instead of you having to look in either an Excel sheet or whatever contract management tool that you may be using, we're here to help be your backstop to track that, where we are going to say, hey, this contract's coming up, what's going on? Hey, this inventory, do you want to upgrade, downgrade? You have a renewal coming up? Let's help you with this. And then, of course, lastly, the proven business impact, just being able to see the quotes and just knowing how many emails we probably have saved clients and headaches and misquotes or anything else in between. That's something that we love to call out, is just being able to showcase how we've helped streamline the process and really make a difference. So as we go on to our next case study, as I mentioned, C360 is only a year old, so we've had already some great feedback, great client collaboration, as I've mentioned. So I'm going to have Kimmy set the stage into how we helped this client transform their process.
Awesome. Thanks, Taylor. And as you notice, we do have a new department here at C3, Client Lifecycle Manager, which I started in earlier this year, and which tackles a lot of the day 2. I like to say Nick promises, and I figure out how to deliver with Taylor. So for my customer, we're looking at a nationwide company in the healthcare vertical, and they are a medium to large enterprise with, at the end of the day, once we get them all implemented, 600 plus sites.
So similar to Nick, I just want to establish, what were the challenges that they were facing prior to implementing C360?
Yeah, with a lot of circuit inventory, you're always going to see these four things, I think. Vendor management, when you're moving from 1 to 10 different vendors to 20, over to your new solution, vendor management, contract management, if you have sites coming out of contract on that old solution, moving that over to the new solution, or where their contracts even lie today, or the end date. And overall source of truth, how many times you ever get on a call and they're like, well, I think it's this. No, I think it's this. So they were looking for that overall source of truth to then put into a simple central repository that anybody could access.
Yeah, and what's really unique with this particular case study that we wanted to highlight is we've partnered with the vendor who was the selected aggregator for this particular group, and the process, as Kimmy will go in a little greater detail, was just ungodly long and cumbersome, and that is something that we want to ensure that we lighten that, make sure it's quicker. I said quicker, better, faster than what you've been able to experience in the past. So Kimmy, I'm just curious, how you actually, being the forerunner here, how did you help transform that process to help the client simplify this entire process of moving to all these direct ISPs to an aggregator?
Yeah, so like Nick and Taylor talked about, they really brought this thing to life. But when they brought this thing to life, it had a lot of bells and whistles to it. So what we did was we took a simplified approach and focused on these things at the bottom right here is data integrity, quoting, order tracking and automations, and then we'll move into a day 2 scenario of cost savings and then a renewal standpoint. So touching on the first 3.5, 4, because that's rolled together, is data integrity, just being able to get all that source of truth into one spot, whether it's on an old solution or new solution or somewhere in between. So getting that on that dashboard so we can have a visible look on it. Quoting, how many times, and we do have someone in the audience today, have you wanted to send quotes over and then it sometimes gets lost in an email, or Nick's in Ireland and it just sits in an inbox? Yeah, he's just always going to Ireland. So we were able to create a customized form on the back end so that customer goes in, they select what they need based on their solution, and then that comes to us and we run with it until we get the pricing back, and then the customer says, okay, we want to move forward with that. Then that moves us into our order tracking automation. From an order tracking standpoint, we have PMs here at C3 that's going to help track that order from beginning to end, in between, and escalate if need be. And then also with the winning vendor that we're working with on this solution, when they had to install a new circuit, a form had to be filled out. Imagine doing that 600 times. We're only on 200 locations right now, but you get the picture. So we were able to bridge between the vendor and the customer and set up automation in that dashboard that they send us only the needed information. We're putting that into the dashboard, and with one click, that goes back to the vendor and it kicks the order off. So it just takes any Excel work out of it. So I'm going to pause there because I know Taylor wanted to touch on day 2 support and cost savings and renewals.
Yeah, so obviously this is definitely more, call it the front end of the house, and then behind scenes, another huge impact in a lot of organizations is understanding what cost you're currently spending, the automation behind scenes, and making sure that these auto renewals aren't renewing and you have the disconnects coming in, managing 600 sites and trying to figure out which one's coming up by when, and making sure the disconnect happens when then the actual activation happens, can get pretty cumbersome. And part of Kimmy and the department's job of the client lifecycle managers is to help with that day 2 support for the cost savings, the renewal automation side. So Kimmy, I'm really curious in how we continue to help the client, not only obtaining the quotes, getting the orders done, but now actually doing the next step of the renewals as well.
Yep. So a renewal standpoint from both sides of the house, right? We talked about data integrity and moving to that new solution. So what we were able to do is, while we're building out the inventory of the solution that's in place today, we're putting contract end dates in there, as well as if you have that same site coming up on the new solution, we mirrored it underneath. So say you have like 123 Main Street, 123 Main Street, wherever. When that new solution came up, we were able to see that there was an existing circuit there today. So that triggered a conversation with us to say, hey, Corey, it's time to disconnect that circuit. So that, from a cost saving standpoint, you're cutting down on the double billing, because how many times do we go, oh my God, did we disconnect that circuit? And it's like 6 months later. So from a cost saving standpoint, that's really helped us out. Then on the other half of that is renewals. We always want to work on getting the best competitive price. We know vendors love to throw a re-rate in there the 60 seconds you're out of a contract. So we're able to build and customize triggers with this customer in particular. It's 30, 60, and 90 days. So we get email triggers to us that says, hey, let's go have that conversation on being able to have that renewal, or are we doing something up with the circuit? Is it closing? So on and so forth.
Oh, I love it. And then Kimmy, love you. I know you have closing remarks. Let's do it. What else do you have?
Always got something to say.
Is that Ohio in you?
It is. OH. C360, the dashboard at the end of the day is here to help you guys, right? All of this goes from the conversations you have in your head to being able to put it in front of you and let us managing it. So it's just giving you time back in the day to go do what you need to do, or Taylor's going to talk about the organizations you guys got to run. So it is a time saver, bandwidth saver, life saver.
Yep. Awesome. All right, so now is the time we've all been waiting for the demo. So I think, based on what I've seen, heard so far, contracts inventory is pretty painful for everyone, I think, here. A little bit, yeah, a little bit. Oh, the SOW too? Oh, I love this. We're going to do that too. Don't you worry. I love the evaluation process as well. So I'm going to start here first with the contract inventory, and then we're going to do the evaluation as well. So for contract inventory, what I absolutely love with C360 here is we are always going to call to the top of the screen what you need to know. So for this particular example, the upcoming contract renewals being your 30 days out. We can also customize this for any disconnects as well. So if you want to see what disconnects or even new activations are, we can showcase all of that too. What even is really unique, and I'm super excited, we had a client that literally gave us this ugly Excel sheet of their $2 million SaaS saying, I don't know when any of this actually ends. Help me, help us. And I was like, oh boy, okay, we got this. So what we're able to do now is, obviously with some SaaS solutions, they have different time frames. So as Kimmy mentioned, you have your 30, 60, 90. You can also have a 6-month, 12-month automatic renewal happening. And you're like, oh gosh, what happened? I didn't realize this happened already. We got you. So we'll put everything up there, and as I mentioned, we can customize that to what your process is. So if you and your team reviews this once a quarter, maybe you have to go in front of an executive board, we'll call it out in front to ensure that you have that time to work through that. And if you're not able to necessarily see those notifications, that's where you have Kimmy and or Nick or any of your other consultants as well to help you saying, hey, this is something we can solve for. What would you like us to do? So with this is also, I'm going to scroll down to the bottom because I know this is Nick's favorite part down here. So, you know what? Do you want to just do it? No, I'm kidding. So with this, the inventory report. So this is super unique. In the past, we've broken this out in a couple different ways where we've showcased not only your primary, secondary, if you have any tertiaries, we'll show that there as well. But what's really cool is we're now able to add not only the SaaS solutions onto it, but anything else to help really understand what is in each one of your facilities. Now, could we get super cumbersome and potentially do like, hey, I want to know what computers or what security cameras around these sites? Sure, we can if that's something that you'd like. Is that something that we are experts in? No, but if it helps you better manage your team, your organization, we're here to help in being able to customize that. And I know as I scroll over, our goal is to provide you, oh, just kidding, not that. Is to provide you with all of the information that you could possibly imagine and need in just a quick glance. Like, I want to see how much we're paying total on these sites for all of these providers. I want to see how many UC licenses we're currently billing right now. I want to know if I go down, if I have my provider, portal here, my contact information, and I'm just going to go call, Layla Parker here and see what's going on with Comcast. You have all that information at the tip of your fingers. And I know it's your favorite thing to say, so let's do it, Nick.
I'm so ready. So a lot of people are challenged with doing P&L for a location, right, and how you're going to charge back. This solution could see in a single view of exactly what you have at a physical location. It's also good from a predictive perspective. If you guys are tasked on getting an average per state on what something costs from a technology perspective, that's easy to see right here. Two more things. This is easy to see if you guys have an outage with Comcast, right, or 123net or whoever. You have quick visibility to see what locations are impacted by that outage and that carrier. Last, anybody that's ever dealt with Spectrum and had to call support, there's a 4-digit code that you need that nobody ever has. We can have that here in C360, so you don't have to try to scramble and say, I don't know my password. And then you go through 45 minutes of support. So that is by far the value right there, 4-digit code.
Simple, mic drop. There you go. Yes, yes. So with that, as I mentioned on main stage earlier, we also added the software component as well. So there's a couple ways that we can digest the software component. So in this particular instance, with the client that had asked us to do this with the $2 million SaaS spend, and we're like, oh my gosh, like, I don't do CAD. We can't help with CAD, but you know what? If this is an issue that you're experiencing, and we came to realize with the data and how we were able to digest it, there was so many different individuals owning different contracts, different licenses that were associated to different locations. So we're able to congest and really digest all of that, saying, hey, this guy's paying via credit card with the CAD based on what you're showing us. When this comes up for renewal, we can just trigger that notification to you. Go reach out to your CAD contact, condense that into one single contract moving forward with that license. So we're able to really customize this, as I mentioned, even though we may not be the experts in that, just to help you gain that visibility where your team can then have action to what is the next step. So, all right. And I know we're excited about the evaluation dashboard, so I am super excited about that too, because that's our new one. So with our evaluation dashboard, there's a couple items that I want to mention here. So with the evaluation dashboard, we're constantly going to be in communication with not only different providers. Usually we start with a long list and we simplify it down to usually, you call it your top 3 or 4. Usually when we get to your top 3 or 4 is when we'll either do your focus groups. We also have the ability to do the live survey as well. And this live survey gives you total access for quantitative and qualitative data, so you can see which vendor is going to be the best fit based on your own features, rankings, breakdowns, whatever you need. You're going to say, okay, you know what, this is really important to our team. This vendor scored the highest. This is going to be the best fit. So instead of guessing, you now have complete visibility into this makes the most sense because of A, B, and C. And so when you have your stakeholders coming to you going, hey, why are we moving forward with this provider? You can say, hey, I have all this data. There's all these responses. And what's really unique about it as well is we had a client earlier this year. It's a large healthcare system with 8 different hospitals. Not Corewell, because I know they said they have 8 too. But it is with 8 different hospitals, and all of them are acting independently. And they're trying to find a way how they're going to, in a sense, truly have a unified communication system, but they don't know what each location truly needs. So what now is happening is they're like, where do we start? How do we even procure questions to ask our providers of what we need to start looking for? So we ended up actually flipping this instead of the vendor demos to employee questions and saying, hey, employees, what's important to you? What do you think about this? What do you currently have? And we were able to take all this data from 8 different hospital healthcare systems, pull it right down and say, these are the most important things that we need to pay attention to when we are going through what matters in the vendors to the demos and things like that. And now they are fortunately moving forward with a new provider that will help meet all of those expectations of what the employees needed. So that's one of my favorite features. I love showing because I love data. I'm a little bit of a nerd. But with the evaluation dashboard, anytime, these are all fake, so don't worry, I'm not sharing anything crazy. But you are going to be able to have direct access to your scope of work that you would have agreed upon, not only with C3, but also the entire workbook that C3 provides during that evaluation process. This gives you that dynamic of being able to collaborate with us, ask questions. We will also put in vendor responses in here as well. Anything possible will all be in there. If you have technical requirements, we can throw that in there. Teams, Slack, whatever communication platform you use, we can also have a direct link there so your team can have access to communicate with us. And then, of course, what matters most? Well, you guys tell us. We know what we think is important, but we also aren't in your business day to day. So if there's anything that's important, you're like, hey, during this, we have to reschedule our Cato demo. We have a few folks out of office attending the C3 Tech Summit. Can we get that rescheduled? Yep, 100%. We're going to add that to the next meeting. So Kimmy or Nick's going to be like, yep, let's take care of that for you. We'll get that rescheduled first thing off the docket. That's important. So we also, of course, which one of my favorite features is the meeting notes and recordings, is no matter what, please go on vacation. Please enjoy time off and don't worry about it. It's the best part because when you are on vacation, you don't want to have to worry about, I wonder how this evaluation's going, because you'll always have access to it. And so you're going to have access not only to the video recordings that we will also have, but anytime the vendors are sending documents, information, PowerPoint presentations, demos, whatever it is all going to be stored in here for direct access to you. And then lastly, the timelines. These are one of my favorite items as well, is being able to see what's going on, who owns what within that timeline, and then the task assignments underneath that as well. So between your team, our team, waiting on vendor responses, whatever it may be, you will have full visibility into that as well. So, okay. Is that good? Is that what you're looking for? Yeah. Yes, of course, yes. Yes. So I can multifunction here. So yes. So to answer your question around the data input, so that one's really it's a very, very common question. So usually what happens is a lot of our clients don't have a lot of great data. It's the Excel sheets, the PDFs. It's all over the place from 10 different systems. So yes, the contracts. Yes. Yep. Yeah. Yep. So what we do, depending on how you have the information already, does not matter. Could be PDFs, Excel sheets, like I said, sticky notes. You can scan them over, whatever it is. What we'll do is we will receive that information. We digest that data. Now, if there are providers that we have partnerships with, so I mean, any sponsor here is a great example. We will go and ask them for, hey, this client came with this information. Can you validate, verify that these are the correct contract terms? This is the correct account number. We may need an LOA to do that, but we're able to go and partner with them to verify that data, collect it, condense it, and then we're able to digest it, put it in a report for you, which kind of ties into your second question around like the customization. We'll take the first stab based on just our experience talking with other clients. So a perfect example, like the department breakdowns, things like that. That was something that was requested upon us. But if you're like, yeah, I don't really care about the custom breakdown with departments. I care more around fiscal year and when certain things are coming up at this point, that point. We can customize that. It's a very simple process. We actually have a button up here, there we go, called Request a New Report. So if we have the data and you're like, hey, I just want to see it broken in this way, we can customize that. We actually had a client who was like, I want to track my taxes and fees in my contracts. And I was like, you do?
That was mine. Sorry about that.
I know. And I was like, why? And they're like, we want to see if we're getting like, screwed over there. Yeah. 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 Who's doing what? It's going to be split amongst several C3ers. So we have project managers. So in the project management dashboard, our project managers will live there. Order management, our project managers are handling all of that data. For your quoting and your day 2 support, so the contract renewals inventory, it's going to be in a sense a split between the consultants and the client lifecycle managers, just depending on what the needs are and what the asks are and the process. But I know, Kimmy, you've had a lot of experience as well with just like the different types of processing.
Yeah, in regards to, can you clarify that a little bit? Processing of what?
Just how we have helped our clients work through like the different types of like the quotes and like follow-ups and things. Like it went in the weeds.
Yeah, so it's like this is this dashboard. So we'll take my customer for example. Yep. So when we started, it was kind of like, you have so much information for you. How do we simplify that? And it just started with like, we have these sites at this vendor. Okay, send those over. We'll put those in an Excel spreadsheet, but also they'll be like, but I think we have like these sites. So hey, how Taylor said, let me just go verify with the vendor. So we just start out. This is I would say this is probably
the executive dashboard.
Yeah, this is when you're in it, you're in the thick of it. You have to start simple and build up. So once we kind of started down that inventory, and we would see, okay, address, contract end date, MRC. That would live there in your day 2. And then from a quoting standpoint, I'm trying to go and process here. I started with the inventory. You were interested in quoting is you had mentioned, does every C3 always just need to be involved? This is where we really come into play, right? Is you would go in here and fill this out. And then what's great is once that's sent off, you can go about your day. You don't have to worry about this because then it becomes our responsibility once we get the request to reach out to the vendors ensuring that everything is met correctly to what you need, as well as making sure we get that back, because you could send this request in on a Monday and say you have a weekly call Tuesday, and now it's like 2 Tuesdays from now, and they're like, oh yeah, we needed to get that quote. That's our responsibility to chase that down for you and ensure that that gets done and the pricing is competitive. What was the next question you had? I just want to make sure I hit on all of them.
That was the customization renewals. Was there another one?
So yeah, there's four different buckets there. This is great. I can take this. Right? I understand what you're saying now. Okay, so live survey, your evaluations are going to be that step one, right? That's where you're really going to work with Nick, and I think you had that dashboard open, right? So in there, and I understand what you're saying about, oh, what are we doing, quotes here, quotes there. So say you go through your whole evaluation, and just say in this example, you have 20 locations. So now once you kick off those 20 locations, once your selected vendor is made, then that will then go into that second phase of that dashboard, the project management dashboard, right? So you're getting all that information in there. At C3, you would get a project manager that's going to help make sure all those sites get implemented, that you're hitting timelines, so on and so forth, and everything's getting installed correctly. So, and I'm kind of summarizing this because then Taylor will be able to schedule an in-depth demo with you. Once that project is implemented, then it moves into a day two, we'll call day two life cycle environment. That is where you have either a Nick, an account manager, or myself as what they call a client lifecycle manager, helping you kind of manage that data on a day-to-day basis, week to week, month over month. You're going to have your environment in there, but then you had brought up, these quotes. Well, sometimes if you have we just bought a new site, or we have customers that are moving and shaking all the time, and they're bringing new sites up or moving sites one place to the other, that's where they would submit those quote requests. So it's kind of that day two ongoing environment. And if there's any moves, adds, or changes within your solution or your environment, that's where that's being made at. And that day two dashboard is kind of where you're going to live once your solution is implemented, where those renewals and contracts are coming up. I'm hoping I hit on all of our dashboards.
And that's where I am definitely going to throw this up. So I'm happy to go in super depth too, and like ask more questions, really walk through. What we can also do is customize, as I mentioned, that C360 demo. So we'll have like a quick 15-minute conversation. This is what I'm looking for. I'd love to see it. We can grab that data or like the idea of like, hey, this is what I'd like to see. We can showcase that so you can see it as well. We've done that with several clients of ours with current data. That it's, hey, what does this actually look like? And we're like, just give us 5 lines and we'll show you what this looks like. So that's something we can do too. And part of the demo is customizing that to you, what your needs are as well. So this is a QR code to my calendar. So feel free if you would like to schedule some more time with me, follow up. I also have more questions too, or more demo options as well. So definitely You're welcome. You're welcome. And I appreciate you all coming out, not only today, but obviously to the demo as well. So just a friendly reminder, Stanley McChrystal is going to be in the other room. So he will be on stage at 4:30. So 4:30. But everyone's heading back to grab their seats. So appreciate the time today. Thank you, everyone. Thanks, guys.